I had a PhD scholarship in the US and then another PhD scholarship in the UK. No matter how good you are, you cannot rise above your circle. Till you get what you want, you're still in the waiting room. Nobody is coming to save you. What has brought you to this level is actually resilience.
Every year, thousands of international students dream of studying abroad, but the journey to securing a fully funded scholarship feels like an impossible feat. The odds are just about 1% in the UK, but then there are those rare stories that defy the odds.
Scholarship was not even anything discussed about during my undergrad days. So I applied to a Commonwealth scholarship and I was very lucky to be selected on my first attempt.
Martins had never heard of international scholarship opportunities until after his undergraduate years. But once he did, there was no looking back.
Until a chicken sees one of them flying, none will ever fly. So I told myself, well, you see this academic ability, I'm going to make sure that I make the best out of it. Okay, I can prove that I'm an excellent student. And then in exchange, they'll fund me, right? Oh, that sounds like a good deal. And I was so ignorant that the school that selected me, I didn't even know where they were located. It was embarrassing.
This is Martin's story on how I got here.
My name is Martins. I came on a scholarship to the United Kingdom. After that, I had a PhD scholarship in the US and then another PhD scholarship in the UK. It all began when I was done with my undergrad in Nigeria. I still felt that I wanted more. I started exploring opportunities to study, not necessarily abroad, but then my lecturers believed that I should have progressed, after my undergrad, and I also believed I should progress after my undergrad. Scholarship was not even anything discussed about during my undergrad days. So when I graduated, I saw a friend get a scholarship. And I was wondering to myself, I was trying to ask myself, what went wrong? How was it that I didn't even know of this scholarship in the first place? He did something else that I did not do, and that was to belong to a network. No matter how good you are, you cannot rise above your circle. It meant that I was in the wrong circle all along. The first thing I want to ask you is, which of your friends has ever won a scholarship? None. See what I mean? Until a chicken sees one of them flying, none will ever fly. So it took one of us to do it for us to start believing. So I applied to a Commonwealth scholarship and I was very lucky to be selected on my first attempt. When I was trying out in 2021, I think I applied to about 10 schools and only one came out to be successful. And I was so ignorant that the school that selected me, I didn't even know where they were located. It was embarrassing. I did not know I had an university email. One day, my professor then asked me to check my email, and I asked him, does the university have an email? He was shocked. Then he asked me, how will the university communicate with students if they don't have institutional emails for all students? That's what he asked me. I will never forget that question. And then I started my journey. It was my first time traveling out. When I landed, it still felt like a dream. I was asking myself, is this really real? Because I didn't face any interview, right? I didn't appear before any panel. Everything was just done through portal application and emails. And after my studies, I asked myself, what next?
Winning that scholarship definitely felt surreal. It showed that preparation meets opportunity when you position yourself right. But it wasn't really just about academics. Networking and the people around you play a huge role. Your circle can either elevate you or hold you back. But Martins didn't stop there. With determination and a clear strategy, he went on to win not just one, but 2 fully funded scholarships for his PhD. One in the United States and another in the United Kingdom.
One of my friends sent me a link to apply to some schools for my PhD. They applied to schools in the US and in Canada, and I was lucky to be selected for an opportunity in the US. Went there for a year and then I had to do my graduate assistantship in the United States. That kind of gave me the confidence and needed experience to carry out independent research. There comes a time when you now be as still as the sea. You don't make noise, but you are so deep that you can decide that today I want to be in the US, or tomorrow I want to be in Canada, I want to be in the UK, and it will be so. But that will come as a result of working diligently with your network, right? But then I got 2 PhD scholarships in the US and the UK, and I decided that, you know what, I would rather take the one in the UK because that gave me some level of flexibility. If you want to be able to have a life of freedom, where you can choose, you can decide where to even have your funding, you have to do the basic work. I think I will feel more comfortable and it will be more fulfilling and rewarding for me to do my PhD in the UK. I decided that, okay, you know what, United States, thank you for your money, thank you for everything, but I think I have found the first love, which is the UK system of education. In order to navigate the landscape, the academic landscape over here, you should try as much as possible to ask for help. One thing you should be assured of in this place is nobody ever punishes you for asking a dumb question. Okay, they will actually be glad to help you.
One important lesson to learn in Martin's story is that don't let the odds discourage you. Seek out opportunities, build connections, and never underestimate the power of believing in yourself. Martin's story isn't just about personal achievements. It's a lesson in the power of positioning, the influence of your network, and the importance of perseverance.
Nobody is coming to save you. What has brought you to this level is actually resilience. You are the first chief security officer of yourself. You're the person that's tasked with the responsibility primarily to see that you do well. Not your parents. No matter how difficult things get, there are things you may have to give up and there are things you may have to start doing. All of this will require some stretching. I saw that the greatest way I could quickly escape would be maybe through academic excellence. So I told myself, well, you see this academic ability, I'm going to make sure that I make the best out of it. Okay, I can prove that I'm an excellent student. And then in exchange, they'll fund me, right? Oh, that sounds like a good deal. Some other person may be sitting back now and telling themselves, well, you don't understand my situation. Mine is so bad. I've been trying to reach out to this person. They are not answering me. The rejections are just a part of it. You just have to understand that they're a part of it. Stop reaching out. Start reaching in. I even have issues with putting your whole hope and destiny in the hand of another. I've discovered over time that the people that succeed in life just have 3 things to do. And they have to do one of them excellently and they'll be successful. Number 1 is persuasive writing, persuasive speaking, persuasive acting.
Now, what makes Martin's story extraordinary is his ability to succeed where so many others falter. From securing the prestigious Commonwealth scholarship for his master's degree in the UK on his very first attempt, a feat that takes many applicants years of persistence.
When I say scholarship is a game of alignment, I mean if you have a degree in a particular course, you should also aim to highlight how that degree meets the scholarship requirements. By alignment, I mean all the experiences you've had, you should try as much as possible to structure them so that there will be a thin thread that connects all of them together. So I would not say work experience is more important or maybe your undergraduate program is more important. What I would say is alignment is more important. Some scholarships will emphasize work experience. Others will emphasize grades, relevance, degree, and etc. So it will depend on the scholarship, but the thing that will be common in the 2 situations will be alignment of both work experience and your undergraduate degree. This takes me to my final point of timing. Timing is not in your hands, unfortunately. Preparation is in your hands, right? But timing is not. Only preparation, okay, can make you feel that you've done what you should do. Once you understand that, you're going to have this kind of peace that no one else can give. No motivational speaker can give that peace. You will just have that peace knowing that you ticked all the boxes, you did everything right, but hey, you're still in the process, and till you get what you want, you're still in the waiting room. So just keep on, okay? Your time will come.
From a young boy in Nigeria who didn't know about scholarships to an academic achiever with global recognition, Martin's journey is proof that dreams, when pursued with strategy and determination, can truly come true. Learn to dream big, plan smart, and achieve more. And that's all I have for you guys on this particular episode of How I Got Here, where I'll continue to share stories that inform, inspire, and educate. Do not forget to smash the subscribe button, like our video, share our video, and drop your thoughts in the comment section. And until the next episode, do not forget to stay safe. Have a good one, guys. Cheers.